Hi, everyone. We are so excited for you to join with us tonight. It is the official kickoff for the new BYU Jerusalem Center Alumni Association. I'm Amy Perry, and while we wait for more alumni to join us, we are going to hear from some of our alumni, just sharing kind of their experiences of the Holy Land and being in Jerusalem. And so while we hear from them, we would love for you to take a moment to reach out to family members or friends or whoever it may be, former classmates who traveled to Jerusalem or who you think would just be interested in joining with us tonight. So send them the link, have them join. It would be awesome to have more come on. And with that, we're going to hear from these alumni and we'll just get started.
Year before I went to Jerusalem, I was navigating a series of health challenges, and I almost didn't get my medical form signed, but they gave me permission to go ahead. And as we went through the program, it was pretty rigorous. There was a lot of hills to climb, a lot of stairs, a lot of rocky ground. We did a lot of walking, climbed a lot of tells, right? And near the end of the program, it was really getting to be a difficult thing for me. And as we were doing the last week walk, right there at the very end, as we came into the hill, into Jerusalem, my body was done. And I really didn't know if I could even finish. And I was so sad because I wanted to go to the upper room. I wanted to go to the Garden of Gethsemane. I wanted to finish that walk. And as we entered the Church of Peter, we sat down there and we had a little fireside, and when it came time to get up and go, I couldn't move anymore. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk anymore. And so they called a shroot to come get me and take me back to the center so the group could continue. And I asked for a priesthood blessing before I left them. And they had my two home teachers at the time come to give me the blessing, and they had both just received their mission calls at the Garden Tomb a few days before that, and had been given the priesthood, and that was their first blessing that they had ever administered. And in that blessing, they blessed me with the ability to finish. And the Spirit rushed through me, and I had a burst of energy, and I was able to get up, and all the pain was gone. Everything was completely gone. And everyone came and they were carrying my backpack and they were trying to make sure I was okay, but I was fine. I was totally fine. And I finished the entire day. And we ended that night, with the Last Supper in the chapel. And I wept. I just wept because I was like, have I been cured? Like, is all of this gone? Because this was kind of lifelong stuff I was dealing with. And I didn't sleep that night. I went out in the Bible gardens and I just prayed, and I just was so grateful for all our Savior had done with us, like all the culmination of that last week, like where you just realize all that Christ has done for us. And I felt like in that moment, it was so real in my life. And I just had the most incredible experience that changed me that night as I understood what the Savior had really done for me. And although I woke up the next morning with all the pain back and a new set of challenges, I was given that little glimpse of all that will be restored someday, and that's enough to keep going every day. And that moment changed me.
So I remember all of us went out onto the terrace of the Jerusalem Center, and we were listening to the musical Lamb of God by Rob Gardner. And at the beginning, I was really frustrated because it was really hard for me to feel the Spirit. And I had found that for a long time, I guess looking back with retrospect, before going to the Jerusalem Center, I realized that I was kind of in a dark place, just in a place where it was really hard for me to feel God's love. Really, really, really hard. And while listening to this beautiful music, everyone's feeling the Spirit around me, and just kind of felt left out. I was like, what on earth am I doing wrong? I'm like having such a hard time forgiving myself, having such a hard time putting myself in a position to feel that love. And I remember just randomly out of nowhere, having a group of friends come over to me and just give me a hug. And after that point, it was like a 180 difference of how I felt in that moment, just being overwhelmed with love and overwhelmed with joy, and this feeling that I'd finally been forgiven. And it took me a long time to feel that love from Heavenly Father, and it took feeling all this love from all these people 24/7, every single week, every single month. And I know it comes across as an overstatement to say something like it literally changed the course of my life, but it quite literally changed the course of my life to feel that love.
Hi again. I am Amy Perry, the vice chair of the organization. So I attended the Jerusalem Center in the summer 2015, and I will be your host tonight. We have so much we want to share with you, and we are so excited for what is to come. So we're hoping to do it under an hour, so please stay with us. We also have some trivia and questions throughout the night as well. So please play along. You can email your answers at stories@byujerusalemalumni.com with your responses. We will also stick that email address in the chat. So we'll let you know who wins later on. Tonight, we are also going to have a Q&A. So if you have any questions, go ahead, submit them through our Q&A box, and we will get to them tonight. So let's get started and jump back into Jerusalem.
I remember getting to the city, getting to Jerusalem, and within the first week, feeling this very deep sense of coming home, not to a home that I had known, but a home that my heart knew and my spirit knew.
I always felt safe, and I felt like we were really taken care of and protected while we were there, but I really feel at home in the Holy Land.
I felt like I belonged there. I connected immediately to the history, the people, but I felt like I belonged there. And I could walk anywhere and it felt more like a return.
Jerusalem was different in every way, sound, smell, sight, but for some reason it felt like home. It felt so familiar. So it was surprising to me, but also it was home.
Congratulations on becoming the latest BYU alumni chapter. You join a long list of alumni groups worldwide whose purpose is to both remember their own BYU experience and create opportunities for future students to enjoy that same blessing. In Rome, the term alumni was first used to define a quasi-family relationship, specifically referring to children abandoned by their parents and brought up in the home of someone else, what we might now call a foster child. Recognizing the close family relationship that schools hope to create with their students, the term eventually came to refer to students or pupils in an educational setting. I hope that the Jerusalem Center Alumni Chapter is infused with that family feeling. Not that you were abandoned by your parents, but that you found a new home and new family members while at the center. For many of you, the Jerusalem Center experience gave you both. Many of you found lifelong friends, some eternal companions. I hope all of you came to better understand and appreciate your relationship with your Heavenly Father and your elder brother, Jesus Christ, while at the center. I realize that not all of you are BYU alumni, but we are happy to count you as part of our BYU family as you work to keep alive the spirit of the BYU Jerusalem Center that has become such a meaningful part of your lives. Welcome home.
Thank you for those words, President Worthen, and thank you for being with us tonight. We are just so grateful for your support. Ever since this idea was presented to you, we are so excited to continue to work with you. So if you know a lot about the Jerusalem Center, or if you've been through maybe the website or you've followed us on social media, you are going to have the chance to win big. And when I say win big, we mean that you'll be one of the first to have one of these Jerusalem alumni t-shirts. and I just want to show it to you because it's awesome. So here you go. You can win this. Yay! So they come in men's and women's sizes and styles, and you can just tell us which one you want. So send us your answers, and we will let you know if you get to win the t-shirt. So to win, you have to be the first, and also you have to be accurate. So once again, the email address you're going to send your answers to is stories@BYUJerusalemAlumni.com. And that email address is going to be in the chat. So are we ready for our first trivia question? The first question is, what year did the students stop going to Sinai and why? So there's your first question. The email address is in the chat. So if you know, go ahead and submit it, give us your answers and everything, and we will let you know who wins. So maybe you have noticed that our theme tonight is Welcome Home. We have asked Jim Curl, who has been the assistant to the president of the university over the BYU Jerusalem Center for over 30 years. He's going to talk about more ways that we can feel like a community of Jerusalem alumni and ways that you are being welcomed home. So we're going to hear from Jim Curl.
I'm delighted to be part of this kickoff event for the new Jerusalem Center Alumni Association. Creating an alumni association for those who've studied and lived in the Holy Land under the auspices of BYU is a wonderful idea. And I very much appreciate those Jerusalem Center alumni who have given their time to get this alumni group underway, especially April Cobb for leading the effort and pushing me. The lives of everyone I know, students, including all 5 of my children, faculty, administrators, and service couples, have been changed by their experiences at the center since its completion and at Ramat Raquel and other temporary accommodations before the center was built. As has my life, although I've never lived in the Holy Land for more than a week or two at a time, nearly half of my life and well over half of my professional life are closely tied to the center. I have high hopes and expectations for what the Jerusalem Center alumni as a formal organization can do. Most importantly for me is connecting individuals whose paths cross more than casually during their stay in the Holy Land into a community that, while it would be different from the one that each of you were part of when you lived in the Holy Land, can add richness and remember the richness of remembered experiences and renewed friendships and connections. I also hope that the Jerusalem Center alumni will be a vehicle for a low-key but important continuing education program with regard to the area where you once lived, as well as the religious themes that you explored while you were there. And I hope that the Jerusalem Center alumni will be a way for some of you, in organized groups or as families, to visit Jerusalem and explore the center. By late this fall or early next year, virtually the entire building and its gardens will have been renovated, refurbished, and renewed, a process that we started more than 15 years ago. I hope you'll plan on visiting the center. There have been some major changes on the interior and a few on the exterior and gardens that, while keeping with the spirit of the original architects and the interests of President Hunter and Elder Faust, give the building a fresher, in some places, a warmer look. So we welcome you to come back. If you're going to take a family visit or be there on other occasion, please contact the Provo office of the Jerusalem Center, and we can arrange for a special tour that will take you to parts of the building where you lived and let you see what the changes are. Lastly, I hope that the Jerusalem Center alumni will be a way for you to pay it forward and help the next generation of students. Many people contributed to your being there, and it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to contribute to the next generation of students. Not surprisingly, as Israel has become a modern, vibrant economy, the costs of living in Israel have gone up and gone up substantially. We don't want this to adversely affect those students who who have more modest means. So we hope that you will think about the opportunities to help that group of students, particularly those with modest means, to have the same opportunity that you have. I conclude by wishing you the best as you launch this new association, and look forward to my participation with it as well as yours.
Thank you for that, Brother Curl. It sounds like there's going to be more opportunities than ever before to continually be a part of the Jerusalem Center that we all love so dearly. So after another trivia question, we are going to take a look at the adventure of the Winter 2016 group, which will probably bring back a lot of memories for you. So our next trivia question is, what year did the first semester of students move into the Jerusalem Center? And for bonus points, under whose direction did they make that move? So once again, that email address is in the chat. So just go ahead and shoot your answer to that email address. So here we go.
Hope when you take that jump, you don't feel the fall. Hope when the water rises, you built a wall. Hope when the crowd screams out, you're screaming your name. Hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay. Hope that you fall in love and it hurts so bad. Hey, the only way you can know, you give it all you had. And I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain. Hope when the moment comes, you'll say, I swear I lived. Hope that you spend your days, but they all add up. And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup. Oh, I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain. But until my moment comes, I'll say I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. And with every broken bone, I swear I lived. I swear I lived. Every broken bone, I swear I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. Yeah, with every broken bone, I swear I lived. I swear I lived.
Okay, doesn't that video just bring back like so many emotions and just like memories from like your own trip? So fun to watch. So we have one more trivia question for you. So our trivia question is, what prophet approved the BYU Study Abroad program in the Holy Land? So the email address, once again, is in the chat. So go ahead and just submit your answer through that email. So next we're going to hear from April Cobb, and April Cobb is the chair for the BYU Jerusalem Center Alumni Association. She is the whole reason, you guys, that this is happening. So hopefully she can give you more insight as to what we are aiming to accomplish, and also what fantastic opportunities we have in store for you. Later on, we're going to have a Q&A with her. So if any questions come up, please feel free, stick them in the Q&A box, and we will get through to them later. But I hope you enjoy hearing from April, and just love her as much as we do.
Hi, my name is April Giddings Cobb. I'm from the fall 1993 semester, and I am your chair, the chair of this new organization. I'm really glad to be here right now with all of you, kicking off the new BYU Jerusalem Center alumni. I welcome all of you. I welcome those who maybe only have an interest in the Jerusalem Center or the Jerusalem Study Abroad, and I welcome those of you who have maybe lived in the Jerusalem Center as recently as 2020, when you were sent home because of the pandemic, unfortunately, to those who were there decades ago before there was a Jerusalem Center as early as 1968. Some of you stayed in hotels. Some of you later stayed in Ramat Raquel, and those were such rustic conditions compared to the luxury that some of us experienced in the Jerusalem Center. But we thank you, pioneers, for praying the Jerusalem Center into existence, because what a miracle that was. So we're here together finally, and it's been a long road to get here from the inception in 2019 until now. And I've been looking forward to a kickoff so that we could then begin other events and activities to bring everyone together so we could start learning and enjoying. I have felt so deeply that we needed an organization that would bring together so many people who love the Holy Land and who maybe don't even know how meaningful it would be to stay a part of an experience that was so life-changing for so many of us. I've had some spiritual experiences or promptings in my life, but none that were so persistent and so clear as the Spirit prompted me in this case. It even nagged me to propose this organization. So there was this short list of words that kept coming to my mind that I knew should be the focus of the organization. And those are remember, connect, collect, learn, and give. So the words became the goals of the organization, and I hope that those goals will inspire you and help you to desire to get involved. And I'd love to give you a brief idea of what those mean and what they translate into for the Jerusalem Center alumni. Remembering is fun. Remembering the good experiences in our lives is fantastic. And we love to come together at reunions and talk about the experiences that we had with the people that we remember from the Holy Land. And we love to think about the history and the culture and the archaeology and just all the wonderful things that we experienced, but particularly the testimonies that we heard and that we felt through that experience. So if you want to go to the BYU Jerusalem alumni.com. So it's BYU Jerusalem alumni.com. You'll find so many things that are going to remind you of your experience. There are things that you've forgotten, things that you didn't even know. But we do hope that you'll visit the website from time to time. Connecting. So connecting is important to me personally. I feel like a sense of belonging is necessary and so gratifying for everyone. So whatever your connection is to the Jerusalem Center or to the Jerusalem Study Abroad program, I hope that you feel like you belong here. And here you'll have opportunities to connect with old friends and to meet decades of alumni from other semesters. You can start connecting on the website now, where there's semester pages, have Facebook links. And if your group isn't yet on the page, let us know so that we can get the information we need to put your group on. You'll also find lists of faculty members who did so much for us and taught us so much. They are so dear to us. So go ahead and locate yours. And if there's missing information that you have, we would love to hear from you. We need photos and we need dates and all sorts of things. There are also inaccuracies that maybe you can help us clear up. Collect. Collecting is mostly about documentation of the experiences that we had there. We're supposed to be a record-keeping people, Are we? So what good is it if our stories and our experiences are closed into books on our shelves, or worse, in our storage sheds? So it's time to open up those memory books and share the photos, the stories, the videos, and all the other mementos that you bought from Omar or from Shaban or wherever you got them. Share them with your families, but share them with us, and share them with anybody who might be interested, but we really are interested. We have been collecting already. We've been interviewing dozens of people, alumni, faculty, service couples, and we have been delighted with the stories they've told us. We have laughed and we have cried with them because we relate to the stories that they're telling us from our own experience, and also just because we've been so touched. There really is such a great history there, and we want to be able to build an archive of these stories that can be accessible through time so that that history isn't lost. We're also collecting written stories, so we hope that you'll contribute those as well. You can read some on the website. Learning. So learning really is the reason that we went to the Holy Land in the first place, at least supposedly, right? Most of us. It's our goal to present opportunities for you to learn again, because we do forget so much. And we're going to be hosting online firesides with faculty and former faculty, as well as others who've been involved with the Jerusalem Center program. And hopefully these firesides will help you learn more about ancient as well as current topics, and especially gospel topics that relate to the Holy Land. Another fun thing is we're planning campus conferences where alumni and other members can come to learn and reconnect as well. So you can even plan semester reunions at that time, but we hope you'll come and check that out. We also have a historical timeline on the website, and that is really worth checking out. It has the history of the church as well as the Jerusalem Center and the Holy Land in a really cool way, so that you can learn how it came about, what led to it, and what's happened since then. Giving back is very much a part of who we are as a BYU community, as well as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I've often considered how much I gained from my semester in the Holy Land, and that was when the experience was still somewhat affordable. But I've considered the long-term benefits, and I hope that you will too. I hope that we can give so that other young people will not be excluded from the experience. You can go to the website, to the Give section, and there it will lead you to LDS Philanthropies account pages where you can contribute directly to what we're hoping will become a student endowment, as well as where you can contribute to this organization. The operating costs of providing resources and opportunities for you and other alumni can be covered by those contributions if you're interested. And if you don't have the means, or if you just don't want to contribute, that's totally fine, because that's only one small part of what we're trying to achieve in this organization, where it's really about the members and building and strengthening them. I wanted to share just a couple of experiences I had that maybe will give you some insight into the feelings that led to the creation of the organization. One of those was about the people, and why is it important that we go beyond our own semester to be able to connect or to get to know those people. But a couple of years ago, I took a reunion trip. It was in 2019, and we had a busload of alumni and 2 professors on the tour with us. And most of those alumni were from my semester, but there were quite a good number who weren't from my semester. They were from other semesters. And at first, I was just excited to be with my friends and those who'd gone in the fall 1993. But I think all of us were a little surprised by how quickly we got to know and enjoy others from any semester who shared the similar Holy Land experiences. By day 3, it was hot, late July desert temperatures, and we were very bonded. The distinct thought came to me that there is great value in bringing all Jerusalem Center alumni together, regardless of age or semester. And I think you will realize the same thing as you join together with us to make new connections. The other experience that I had just related to the importance of coming together and remembering the experience that we had there. Before the pandemic hit, and before I'd gotten the idea to start the organization, I sat in a circle in my living room with a group of 12 alumni and their spouses or children, and a former faculty member who had been our professor in the Jerusalem Center 25 years before. So together we were discussing topics about the Holy Land and our experience there, and something happened to me that I did not see coming. The thought occurred to me that sitting in my living room with alumni and discussing this place that we loved so deeply felt exactly the same way that it did when I was actually in the Holy Land. It is a magical feeling that I have when I am there, and it was really no different. So I hope that this will inspire you to want to join in and be a part of this, because we will have those opportunities to learn and reminisce together. And I think you'll have some really fantastic experiences. In closing, I just want to share a few opportunities that are upcoming. We've already talked about conferences, but I think in the spirit of what Jim Crow was telling us earlier, I too am so excited about, the openness of the Jerusalem Center. And I think that's been a really important thing in the development of all this, is that we don't feel like we leave the Jerusalem Center and it's no longer a part of our lives. We truly want you to feel the theme of tonight, which is welcome home. And Jim is letting you know that if you're going there, please do let the Provo office know. Go in and go to the Jerusalem Center and get the opportunity to visit the living areas that you had that aren't available on normal tours. You will feel such a great connection. It's such an emotional experience to return there. Beyond that, something that you may not have seen coming is that we're working on tours. We're working on tours where alumni can go back and experience the Holy Land with other alumni, which is truly special. But beyond that, your accommodations would be in the Jerusalem Center. So that is just such an amazing opportunity. And again, the Jerusalem Center is truly open to its alumni. So we hope that you'll consider that, and that maybe you will want to be a part of that. We are still in the planning stages, so I don't have a lot of details for you, but I can tell you that it's something that we hope will be ongoing through the years, as long as it's safe, as long as the program is working, and as long as there's interest. So keep that in mind, and yay, won't that be great? I hope that everyone who's interested will get the opportunity to go. The final thing I wanted to tell you is that our first devotional will be happening soon. We're starting a devotional series where we will first be exploring the sites that we visited as students. And with this, we have the hope that perhaps you'll be able to feel the spirit of what you felt when you were there, that your families too can learn the way that we learned in the Holy Land. And we're grateful that Frank Judd is going to be our first devotional presenter. He is the most recent associate director of the Jerusalem Center before it was shut down for the pandemic. He's going to talk to us about the site of Kersey along the Sea of Galilee. And that is a very dramatic Bible story. So I'm really looking forward to that. And again, I want to thank you all for being here. And I thank you for your continued interest and involvement in the BYU Jerusalem Center alumni. Good night.
There is a green hill far away, without a city wall, where the dear Lord was crucified. He died to save us all. We may not know, we cannot tell what pains he had to bear, but we believe it was for us. He hung and suffered there. Ooh.
Welcome back. And thanks, April, for all the information about the alumni group and what the goals are, and especially that announcement that we might be able to return with our families, with our spouses especially, and stay in the Jerusalem Center. I think that's a dream that most of us, if not all of us, have, and what an announcement there. My name is Tricia Hammond Petrie, and I attended the Jerusalem Center in fall of 1992. And I'm currently the coordinator of the BYU Jerusalem Alumni Stories Project. April touched on that. One of the main purposes of this organization is to gather memories and stories from alumni, the things that we have stored in our hearts and in our minds and in dusty journals that need to be shared among the alumni and shared with everybody else who comes to the alumni website. These are things that, as far as the legwork goes, I'm collecting journal entries, as I mentioned, of field trips, spiritual moments, things that you learned, anything that stands out to you from your semester, from your experience. It can be from a few paragraphs, a few lines, to a few pages. And these are being shared on the alumni website, as well as on our social media sites. So if you haven't joined yet, join our Facebook group, BYU Jerusalem Alumni, and our Instagram also. The stories that are shared through the Stories Project are being shared gradually on social media. They are privately shared there, but also in the Remember section of the website. So if you would like to submit something from your memories, from your heart, you can do that at the email that's been shared tonight many times, stories@byujerusalemalumni.com, and that will go straight to me, and then we will collect that and share that over time. Okay, so we are ready to announce the winners of our trivia contest tonight. So I'm going to go over the questions and let you know who won. First of all, first question, what year did the students stop going to Mount Sinai and why? Well, one of the answers was because of the bed bugs in the hotel. That's actually not it, although that would be a pretty good reason. It was actually happened in January or winter semester of 2011, and it was due to security issues from what's called the Arab Spring terrorist attacks in the Sinai Peninsula. And Alec Park is the winner. He got both parts of that answer correct and was the first one to get that correct. So Alec, we will be sending you a t-shirt. I'll be emailing you to get your size request and your address. Okay, number 2, what year did students first move into the Jerusalem Center and under whose direction? That was May 1987, and President Hunter was the prophet at the time. But it was also under the director, David Galbraith. And our winner for that one is Vivian Cook, who incidentally, that was her semester. So she was the first one to answer that correctly. No wonder why. And she wins a t-shirt for that. It's wonderful to have someone that early here tonight. I think there's some even earlier here tonight. Okay, number 3, which prophet approved the BYU study program in the Holy Land way back when? The answer is David O. McKay, and Jason Micas had the first correct answer for that one. So Jason will email you as well and get your t-shirt. Woohoo! Okay, we are going to move ahead with a Q&A, some questions for April, who knows a lot about what's going on. So I've been gathering some questions as the evening has gone on tonight, and I think there's a couple of people have asked initially, and I think it's on all of our minds, when will students return to the Jerusalem Center since they were called out?
I wish that I were in charge of that and I could wave my magic wand, but that's really the Jerusalem Center's office's responsibility. And I know they're working on it. I know they would love to get students back for the fall semester, but from what I hear, it just has a lot to do with COVID and the Israeli government. So hang tight, because they're not going to announce it at the last minute. Certainly if the Jerusalem Center can be occupied, the Jerusalem Center office wants the kids back in the center. So just watch, and we'll be sure to make the announcement on social media when we know.
Prayers are needed. Okay, we have a question. How many professors are here tonight? I saw one in the chat section.
Yeah, Jeff Chadwick. So many of us have had Jeff Chadwick. We love Jeff. We're glad he's here. I'm sure there are many more. I did hear from DKO, D. Kelly Ogden, that he would be on with us tonight. So I hope that he made it. I can't see exactly who's here. I guess the problem with the
Eric Huntsman is here, I see.
Oh, good. Yeah, Eric Huntsman, great. If you're a former faculty or professor, anybody who is on staff, we'd love for you to put it in the chat so we know that you're on. That would be great.
Okay, another question. Is there someplace we can go to see pictures of the remodel that's currently underway when it's done?
Yeah, so I mentioned that in my little blurb that I've talked to Jim Curl, and he's thrilled about the idea of us doing kind of a live tour, maybe with Iran, who is the director at the center, and he can show us around. That could be an activity that we do one night, and that will be great. We can all kind of see the updates, even if we can't get back to the Holy Land right away.
Okay, I see, let's see. Did I see Jared Ludlow, Philip Allred? Different professors that are chiming in there. Let's see. Papa Hunts.
Eric Huntsman will be the associate director when it opens. So we are glad to have him on here with us.
Okay, another question. Where can we purchase an alumni t-shirt? The very one that you saw tonight.
I knew that would be coming, and I was doing laundry today thinking about how we would do that. So this is what I propose. If you live in the United States, so shipping won't cost an arm and a leg, then you can go on to the Give section of the website and you can contribute. Like, I'm just going to do this right now for the participants, people who are on this kickoff event. I don't know what the price will be down the road, but if you contribute $20 to the operation fund of the BYU Jerusalem alumni, and make sure your name is on there, and then you can email, just email chair@BYU Jerusalem Alumni. Can you put that in the chat, my email address? And let me know that you made that contribution. And then and tell us your size. So they come in women's sizes or women's style as well as men's style. And I think that they run fairly accurately in both cases as far as sizing goes. And then tell us your size and we will let you know, or we will get back to you and let you know what's going on. We'll just have a bunch of them made at once for this event. And then I did see that somebody asked if there would be merch on the website, and that has been on the plan all along. We would love to do that so that we can get money in the operating fund or possibly the student fund. So any money that comes, any money that we make from that will go directly to supporting these funds. And so we plan to have things like t-shirts, enamel pins, vinyl stickers, who knows, it'll run the gamut. I've even designed Jerusalem Center fabric that we will make the fabric available, or products made out of the fabric, and all of the money from that will go to the Jerusalem Center alumni.
Great. I had another question asking if you could repeat where to go to make that donation again.
So if you go to the website, and I've put the website on the chat several times, it is BYUJerusalemAlumni.com. And at the top, there's 4 sections, and the last one is Give. So you go to the Give link, and then you can go into the JCA, or Jerusalem Center Alumni, go to that button, and that will link you to that account through LDS Philanthropies.
Okay, next question. I'm going to answer this one.
Oh, let me add one more thing. There is like the center arches on one of the arms too. Amy held it up really quickly, but it has something on the arm as well, which is kind of cool.
Okay, a question was just asked about memory books from your semester. Yes, we would love those. There's actually a section on the website for each semester, and we are gathering information from your site, but we need you to help us do that. So if you do have a memory book, if you can scan it, that would be wonderful, and send that to us so that we can put that up and use it. If you can't scan it, we would love for volunteers, additional volunteers to help us scan those memory books that are coming in.
So two things, the sizes, whatever size t-shirt you need, it doesn't matter. We can do whatever size. And then the other thing is I have a stack of memory books this big that Brother Ogden gave me from his semesters there. And I started scanning through those and got maybe 3 into it. And I'm like, I am going to be scanning for the rest of my life. So we really would appreciate if you can scan them yourself, but don't let that stop you from getting them to us so that we can find somebody to do it. But I know that I can't do that and everything else. So, but we would love to have those on there. And if you've been on the website and you've gone to any of the semester pages that have them, they're a fun flip book that you can look through, and it's super cool. We do remove like personal information from those, so you don't see the addresses and phone numbers. And I know that the more recent semesters probably don't have those. I don't know if you do or not, but you probably just like get on your computers and find people. But
right.
Whatever you have,
the more archaic semesters that have those, right? Okay, another question. I don't live in Utah. How much can I participate with the Alumni Association from a distance, other than paying it forward and sharing memories or stories?
You can do a lot. You can do an awful lot. We have somebody on our board, Jared August, who was at the Jerusalem Center in 2011, and he lives in Texas, and he participates plenty. He helps us with the website, attends the board meetings, and most of what we're doing as far as activities go, either will be if they're in person, they're probably going to also be online. So you can be a part of it that way. But like we just talked about with scanning memory books, I mean, that's kind of grunt work, but I've been doing a lot of grunt work myself. So if you're up for that kind of thing, we need just great minds that know that can participate in planning activities and things like that. Like really where you are does not limit you hardly at all. Not everybody's in Utah. Most of us probably are not in Utah.
Okay, another question about the firesides. What time zone are they, and how do we know when they are?
Firesides?
Yeah.
Well, as a board, we decided that we would try to always have them on Thursday nights at 7. That's why this activity is on a Thursday night at 7. It will not always be like the same. It won't be every month, that kind of thing so far. But so for the upcoming fireside with Dr. Judd, we will be having that on Thursday, August 5th at 7 p.m. So we'll send out a Zoom link for that in all the ways that we have sent out information for this event. And we will our website, I always try to update that so that if there's events coming up, if you just go to the events page, you'll be able to see, I think it's called upcoming events. You'll be able to figure out what's going on so you don't miss it. And if you follow us on social media, we're always putting things on there as well.
Okay, someone just mentioned that the Family History Library has super duper fast scanners. So those of you with memory books, once that opens, I don't know if they're open again yet, but head on over there.
The problem, problem from an experienced scanner person of memory books is that they're bound. So I was like unscrewing the thing to, take out the spiral bind and then trying to get that back in. And also sometimes they're like glue done. So you have to sacrifice.
Destroy it.
Yeah, you might have to rebind it afterward, or else you go slowly page by page.
Right. Okay, another question about those who were interviewed. I think the video interviews is what they're referring to. How are those people selected, and did we interview any men?
Oh yeah. Okay, so first of all, they were selected by whoever we could possibly find, because most of those interviews were done before we had announced the organization. And so I couldn't put out a general announcement to people. Trisha here was actually somebody who responded to my neighborhood my neighborhood Facebook page announcement that I needed people who'd gone to the Jerusalem Center. And from the moment she started the interview, which was our second one that day of the first set of interviews, she has been with me interviewing people. It's been a remarkable experience. We don't do them a ton. We have done 3 sessions and we have one planned for the month of July. We have a alumni who is still a student actually filming, and his name is Ben Duro, and he has actually done a lot of the video work that you have seen tonight. He is magnificent and I appreciate him so much. He will be studying abroad in the fall. So I don't know if we'll be doing it when he's gone. We need some film students or people who are willing to help us to continue to do those interviews. We would love to do a lot more, and those videos will be archived as well. We will have those on file in the Harold B. Lee Library for future generations. So we do love interviewing, but obviously we can't interview everybody. That's why we really appreciate written stories. I know it's a lot more work, but I mean, Trisha, take it away, you know?
So some of the videos we've already done are up on the website. You probably just mentioned that. And we have a lot more to come that we'll be posting down the line. But yes, as she said, you know, there's a limit to what we can do right now on that one.
And then
what's that?
The men part of it, I should address that. Because it was probably like 1/4 or 1/3 of the people who went were men, there are a lot more women than men. So more often than not, the people we interview are women, but we do have quite a few men. It's just that what we were going for in the video clips that you've seen, and happened to be mostly women who provided, you know, the fitting answer for whatever the videos that we were making. But we do have a lot of men that we've interviewed and they are fantastic. Their stories are incredible. So we are not at all biased. Just need the men to respond that they can come video with us. So
I actually think there are more men up on the website than women right now. Maybe there's equal, but of videos that are up there. So yeah, there are more. And if you submit stories, or if you have done an interview with us, a video interview, and you don't see that on the website, just know it's a work in progress, and those will come up little by little on there. I see a few comments on there when you talked about Ben. Ben is awesome. Yes, Ben is amazing. We're so grateful for his talents and everything that his time that he's donated to the organization.
I joke that he hangs out with a couple of old women all the time because he's been so selfless with his time. But he's a good guy.
We work around his schedule.
Let us know if you're good at video and you live in the area, because we are going to need help with that.
Video editing. Okay, also somebody clarified that the BYU Family History Library has a scanner that does really well with bound books. So if you're near Provo, that would be wonderful. Okay. All right, another question. How many people are attending tonight? I was paying attention as much as I could, and we had around 240-ish people. There's 230 currently right now.
And we've seen in the chat that some people are having a hard time getting through on the link. I don't know why that is. I honestly don't know what's happening, but we have mentioned it before. We are recording this and we'll make it available on the website as well as the link on social media, so that anybody who missed it can jump right on later and watch it at their own convenience.
Okay, so, and then we keep getting, is there a website? And I think hopefully we've answered that question now. Yes, there is a website. It's BYUJerusalemAlumni.com. And there's also, as I mentioned, a Facebook group and an Instagram group. The Facebook group is private, so you're able to, you know, share memories, stories, feelings, thoughts there in confidence. But we do share a lot of history excerpts, some of the stories that get shared, journal entries, photographs, video clips. A lot is getting shared on there, and there's conversation going on with alumni and also with professors, and it's really been a fun place to gather there. So if you haven't already joined that Facebook group, please join, and also invite all of your friends from your semester that you are friends with, since you need to be their friend in order to invite them. But it's a wonderful place to get together and also keep updated and informed as things come up with the alumni group.
I don't know. Some people have said that that the Zoom link, it's because it asks the person to log in with a BYU Zoom account. I think that, I don't know if they're pushing a different button rather than just using it probably doesn't matter at this point because we aren't going to be on here all night. But anyway, sorry for those who can't get on. Sorry in advance for when you see this.
All right, let me just check to see if there's any others. Did we mention that the firesides are mountain time? There's a question about when we say what time it is.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, and we sent the email out and I did not put mountain time on there, even after I did on every other communication that I did. Mountain time, 7 p.m. mountain time. And I apologize for those who live internationally and it's tough to make that time. That's just what we decided on.
Okay, then there's a question. What is the exact name of the fund to donate to? I don't see one with the words operating fund in it.
I would have to go to look. There's one for students, and then there's another. And if you click a different link below that, there's a picture of 2 students from the 2019 summer term there in costume. And there's a link next to that, and that one will lead you to the operation fund for the organization. People are asking about the alumni. Is this alumni group exclusively for those involved in the center, or does it include those involved in the BYU semester abroad programs prior to the center? You know what? This is absolutely for everybody who has studied abroad, who has over there at all since 1968. This is for anybody who wasn't even an alumni, but maybe was faculty or family of faculty, or was somebody who worked in the Jerusalem Center, somebody over in the Holy Land, anybody with any ties. And I think we called it the BYU Jerusalem Center Alumni because that is kind of the brand of the program. It has to do with the Jerusalem Center. And so, but it isn't exclusive to people who stayed in the Jerusalem Center. That's just how we decided to go with it. I hope you guys understand that and know that it's in no way exclusive.
Okay, are the Thursday night seminars, I want to call it, are they going to be recorded so that people can view them later?
Yeah.
Okay, and can we link the Facebook group on the website? They asked, is it linked? I don't think it is.
It is on if you go to the website, there are several places where you can click through to the Facebook page.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And it's called BYU Jerusalem Center Alumni. So you can search for that and then ask to join. We keep it private, so you have to ask to join and posts have to be approved. We make sure that this is not a political organization or anything like that. It's very much like when you're a student at the Jerusalem Center, we want to make sure that nobody is being offensive or that the wrong people aren't in the group so that we can feel safe there.
Okay, I think we've covered it. If there are other questions that we haven't answered, we will answer those.
Okay, so somebody put in the chat the Facebook group link, and I don't know if your questions and answers are going out to everybody. So I'm going to put that link in there for the Facebook group. And then I just want to maybe go through these really quick to see if we missed anything. Maybe if you have a question, you could chat it now so that we can make sure that we didn't miss anything. It's hard to scroll through all of this to answer questions. Oh, you know what? There is something, a lot of people I've seen have asked about the Jerusalem Center accommodations for tour groups. And like I said, I don't have a ton of answers right now. Like we're getting close to kind of coming up with an idea of it, but I do want to let you know that for now, like whenever we start these tours, it's not going to be a family thing. It will be an alumni +1, most likely. So you can take your spouse or your sister or something like that. But this is, for many reasons, it will just be the alumni and their person. So keep that in mind. And maybe eventually things will change. But for now, don't get overly excited because we aren't going to be able to accommodate families at this point.
Okay. There was also a question about, are we ever going to be able to hear from Jerusalem Center staff and security through the alumni organization?
Yeah, I would love to be able to do that. I don't know. I haven't there's just been a lot that we've been trying to do. I think a lot of us feel a connection to those wonderful people that like served us and protected us there. So hopefully we can have some kind of an activity where we can hear from them. I think that would be fantastic. We've had people that we've interviewed talking about going back and visiting them years later and the feelings they had. And so I know that that's important to a lot of people. So keep asking, we'll try to figure something out so that we can make something like that happen.
Okay, can you repeat the email that we contacted about our donation to get a shirt?
Yes, so again, I'm going to put it in the chat again, chair at BYU Jerusalem alumni.com. That's me.
And do you know how many total alumni there are? Here's your trivia.
You know, I wish the records were a little bit better. It's hard to know, but it's thousands. I don't know, 3,000, 5,000. I don't know how many there have been. We've had, you can kind of do the math. When the first group went with Daniel Ludlow in 1968, there were, I think, about 20 students in that group. And I think there were just a couple of groups that went before, they didn't go for a couple of years. And then I'm not sure the size of the groups. Maybe somebody can chat in what size the groups were when you were going in the 70s and the 80s before they moved into the Jerusalem Center. Once the Jerusalem Center opened and was at, the maximum amount, it was like 160 or over that. And then, the Jerusalem Center closed down between 2000 and 2007. So all those years there was nobody there. And then when it reopened, they've had around 80 students ever since. So in 84 students in winter 1980, 63 in fall of 85, 27 students in 1975, 63 in the fall of 85. So, it varied, but I am not a math person. I built the website, but I can't do a lot of math. So, but it can be figured out. We do have quite a lot, and there's so many that we don't have email addresses for or contact information. So it would be awesome if anybody has a way to contact these people so we can let them know what we're doing.
Dan Hone says he has all the numbers from 1972 to 2000. If you desire, if he'll do the math, will you do the math?
Let us know.
The total.
Yeah. I'd love to figure that out. I mean, a lot of what I've gotten in trying to develop this is somewhat incomplete. There is a list that was published in the Jerusalem Post, I believe, when all of the conflict was going on and the Jerusalem Center was being when they were trying to get us not to open the Jerusalem Center. And so around 1986 or whenever. So as a PR move, the church or the PR firm for the church put an article in the Jerusalem Post that said, okay, so we've been your neighbors. We've been here. We've been traveling here and studying here clear back to 1968. And they listed the names of every student who had been from 1968 on by semester. And I have a copy of that article. So we could even count those, but there's a lot of students listed there. So I thought that was pretty cool because it's true. It's like, we've been around you all this time and we haven't caused any problems. So there's no reason to be angry.
Right. All right. I think that wraps it up. Other than all the numbers coming in, we just need someone to take that and calculate.
Oh, that's a good question. Why have they lowered it to only around 80 students? And I've talked to Jim Curl about this, and after the Jerusalem Center reopened in 2000, I think that there were just a lot of reasons that it made sense to cut it down. I don't know if it had to do with insurance or if it had to do with getting students out in difficult situations, but it's not, from what I hear, it's not likely that they will ever go back to the full capacity. The first floor of the Jerusalem Center has been converted into living for the faculty and administration in the building so that their families can live there. So we could never have the same amount of students anyway, because it was just safer and better from what I hear to keep everybody in the building. So there is I don't know if it's about, I think it's about, 30 to 40 rooms that are unoccupied a lot of the time. And that's what's going to allow us the opportunity to bring people back to stay in the Jerusalem Center because there is space. So in a selfish way, I kind of hope it never would go back to full capacity so that alumni could have the opportunity to go back and stay there. But of course, I want students to have the opportunity to. So
it has a lot to do with busing, transportation, traveling in smaller groups.
Yeah, I think it was a lot to manage. I'm so glad they were able to do it for as long as they did. But can I post a copy of that article? It may be on the website already. But I'm happy to post it. Like, I don't know how easy it will be to see all of those names, but it was helpful because I had an alumni asking me if I had the names of the students that went with him on one of the trips in the 70s. And I was like, I have no idea how to get that. And then I remembered that article and just copied that portion of it so that he could find all the names of the people who went. But I'm happy to make that available. I'll figure out how. So maybe you can email me, Rebecca, and I can remember to do that for you.
Do you have one of the t-shirts around?
Yeah, I do. Hold on just a second. I'll be right back.
I think it used to be open to a lot of different students, the Jerusalem Center. I don't know when they stopped, if anybody knows when they limited it to just BYU students. There's a question or a comment there about that.
So this is a women's large. I think that it will be printed a little bit smaller on that shirt. And then this is on the right sleeve. So, and you know, we will be having other designs that come along as well, but we threw these together quickly so we'd have them before the event. So I hope that helps. All right. So I think we're about ready to go. I don't think there's anything else critical. If you have questions, you can just email us and we can answer your questions. But I think we're ready to go ahead and just show a quick closing video of a couple more alumni who were interviewed. Thanks so much for joining us. It just made me a little weepy to see you all join. It's been a lot of work and definitely worthwhile work and so much more ahead. But thank you for coming tonight.
I remember when we were going to go to the upper room, I was not like everyone else. I waited and said, I'm not going to go visit it prior to our last week, where we walk through the last week of the Savior's life here on this earth. And we went to the upper room. And I remember walking in, and there was a Pentecostal group there. And they were worshiping in a very different way than we're used to. There was jumping up and down, speaking in tongues. It was disruptive a bit. And a lot of our students that were with me had never lived outside the U.S. Maybe some have never been outside of Utah, so it was a little discomforting to see this. Once they left, there were a group of 3 older women that stayed, and for the next half an hour, no one came into the upper room. And this was in June, which is very, very unique. And our teacher, Brother Beasley, got up on the little steps in the upper room in the corner. You can picture it if you've been there. And he said, reverently and meekly now, from that hymn, those words. And for the next half an hour, we sang hymns. And as we were singing my favorite sacramental hymn, which is In Humility Our Savior, and our group was very musical, so we're singing this in parts, and it's just gorgeous. In the middle of the first verse, a dove flew into the room and perched up in one of the pillars and stayed there until the song was done and then flew. I still get chills thinking about it. And to think about the Savior in that room saying the words that we love. If you love me, keep my commandments. My peace I leave with you. Those things from that Last Supper that have become so much a part of our identity of who he is and his message to the world and to us as individuals and as our Savior. It was an incredible spiritual experience for all of us that day.
Definitely the field trip to Mount Sinai was a turning point for me during the trip because I wasn't super serious. I didn't really even know what I was doing there, to be honest. My mom just kind of worked it all out for me and sent me, because young adults can be very difficult. But I remember the night before. So on the field trip, you're supposed to have a flashlight, you're supposed to have water, and then you hike up to the top of Mount Sinai, and then that's where we have a testimony meeting. And you stay in like a monastery at the bottom of Mount Sinai. And I stayed up the entire night chit-chatting with my roommate. They legit knocked on the door and said, "We're leaving," and I had not been to sleep yet. So I rummaged through my bag, and I did not have a flashlight. And it was very dark. There was no light pollution anywhere. So I really had to rely on the other people that had flashlights. I really had to keep my eye on those flashlights because I didn't know where I was going. And I was exhausted. That was the other thing. And I probably said about 5 million prayers on the way up, which I don't know that I really had prayed for a very long time, like in a very sincere manner. So by the time I got to the top, I had begged Heavenly Father to help me to get to the top of the mountain. I was the last person up to the top of the mountain. And I remember sitting off to the side. They had already started the testimony meeting. And I remember thinking the symbolism of everything that had just happened, me looking for the light to get up this mountain. And I just remember, sorry, I get really emotional, but I just remember a voice saying to me, if you want to climb these mountains, you have to do it with me and not without me. Stop trying to climb mountains without me. And I knew it was Heavenly Father telling me that I needed to pay more attention and to listen to what I was being taught and take it seriously. So that was really a changing point for me. So that's when I really started kind of immersing into the scriptures and listening to the testimonies and the professors. And so that was a changing point for me in my life, for sure.
I actually brought my violin, and I didn't know if I'd have opportunities to play it or not, but I felt like I should bring it. And I ended up having so many opportunities to play. One of them was at the Sea of Galilee. And I just took my violin out there. Nobody was there. I just thought, I'll just go out there and play, just right up by the sea. And soon people started gathering, the friends from the Jerusalem Center, and they started asking me, hey, will you play this song, And I remember feeling like, well, I know that song. I don't know if I can play it, but the Spirit really gave my fingers the ability to play these songs, and I just played hymn after hymn after hymn, and I knew that it was the Lord. He wanted me to do that. He wanted me to give that to them, and it was just an incredible experience.